morning, one and all. Hello, Dr. Khadar. We would request you to please come on the dais. I would also request Sridhar Murthy to come on the dais. And Niranjan as well on the dais, please. Thank you, sir. So, yeah, let's begin. Be it a traditional healthcare or modern medical treatment, Westerners are looking at India. Yoga, Ayurveda, meditation. To name a few, here are the things foreigners looking into Indian traditional healthcare systems. It's an honor to have you, sir, Dr. Khadar, also known as the Millet Man of India. So let me take 2 minutes to introduce a little about him. Dr. Khadar is a renowned scientist, a homeopathic doctor, and a unique farmer who has done extensive research on millets. He is extensively working on promoting millets, also known as Siridhanya, in our daily diet. He has practiced for more than 15 years and has been preaching since. He is promoting on reversing illness without medicine by promoting the use of millets in our daily diet. He believes the right kind of food, a simple lifestyle, and the right agricultural practices. That's all the society needs to mend its ways and get itself into promoting health. He has dedicated his life to building a healthy society after resigning his job in an MNC. So here he is with us today to speak about the advantages of having millets in our daily diet for a disease-free, healthy living. Thank you, sir. To say a few words about Sridhar Murthy. Sridhar Murthy, a founder of Gramina Kutumba, is also a promoter of millets and organizes various melas, conducts classes and cooking classes on millets since 2012. He has written many books, one of them being Bhavishyada Ahara Siridhanya. You can have a look at the books at the entrance of the ITC, and you can also visit his outlet, Gramina Kutumba, at Chandra Layout. Thank you, sir. So before we begin the session, we would like to call upon Niranjan on stage to give away bouquet to the honorary dais. I would request everybody to please be standing, and sir, please do the honors of lighting the lamp.
Shubham kurutvam kalyanam arogyam dhanasampadah shatru buddhi vinashaya dipajyotir namostute dipajyotir namostute dipajyotir parabrahma dipajyotir janardanah dipajyotir parabrahma dipajyotir janardanah deepo hartu me papam sandhya deepa namostute o deepa brahma rupasvam jyotisham prabhuravyayah o deepa brahma rupasvam jyotisham prabhuravyayah arogyam dehi putrauscha matim swachham hi me sada.
Dr. Khadar, sir, I would like you to address the gathering. Ranjan sir, thank you so much for honoring Dr. Khadar. You may now take your seat. Thank you.
Yeah. Good morning to everyone. It's a pleasure to come and talk to you, you tech guys. It's been a long 25 years of journey for me. I set out, my objective is to change the world. To change the world, to eat right. So when I say to change right, that means the world is eating wrong. But I will do it. I've been working on it for the last 25 years. And in the name of science, in the name of development, in the name of economics, the world has taken a wrong path in maintaining the essence of life. So life itself is in danger. As far as I'm concerned, on this planet, in the next 20 years, the human race cannot produce babies. There is no sperm left in the men, and there is no women who can menstruate properly in the next 20 years. This is the reality for you all. And everyone has to understand this is the biggest challenge that is staring at human race. And we, following this Western stupid model of living, not even aware of that it is happening to us. And that being the case, everything has to be corrected. If not tomorrow, there has to be some plan, and there has to be a method, and there has to be a system put in place. And the problem is that you have to convince now all the fellows that the system presently present is wrong. So initially, first few minutes, it looks like I'm bashing everyone. Please don't mistake me, because things have gone wrong, and then we still think we are okay, and we are fine, we are doing everything right. So unless I use these kind of sentences and the way I put it across to you, there is no malaise, there is nothing of the sorts that my sentences convey. So I want you to please understand it. It is necessitated because the system exists the way it does. And now, follow me, my story. So I was a young boy, 26 years old, did my PhD in Institute of Science, Bangalore. I worked on steroids and microbes. So steroids are the compounds that are supervisors in the body of any living thing, that they control, they supervise, they manipulate, they maneuver, they regulate. They do everything. They are in very small quantities. The workers are more and the supervisors are less. Am I right? And steroids are such that they manipulate, they regulate, they maneuver, they cut short, they leap, frog, all these kinds of things they do in the biological systems. So it so happened I worked on steroids for my PhD, and then the world of microbes is another different world, because that is the cleaning system of the world in the natural world. But for microbes, there is no recycling in this world. See, if I die, I put it on the ground, then my body slowly becomes degraded, degenerated into carbon dioxide and the elements of the earth, the elements of the air. So for that process, you need these microbes. It's called fermentation process or mineralization process. Fermentation process are half-blocked mineralizations. So now you have milk. I put little curds. What is curds? It is a group of lactobacilli. And they take the milk to a certain point, and that's called fermentation. Beyond that, it doesn't go. Then there is another group of microbes then they go to carbon dioxide. So complete cycle is called mineralization. If there are any minerals left, you leave them, and then that becomes carbon dioxide. So these two processes are very important in the nature. This is what is cleaning up. Something dies, it is converted to carbon dioxide and then the minerals. That is why it's called mineralization. So if you have a toxic compound, you can mineralize it if I have a biological system which can degrade it to carbon dioxide. If not carbon dioxide, the toxicity can be removed by adding hydroxy group or something, and then you come to a halfway process. That's called fermentation. So these are the basic processes in nature that happens, and there are supervisors, there are chemicals that go through all this biological process exists. This is background for you. So after finishing my degree, I went to America to do my postdoctoral fellow in Oregon, Beaverton, in a place of environmental science, where I was dealing with microbes and toxic chemicals like dioxins. And while doing that, I also dealt with natural systems like lignin and things like that. What I'm trying to communicate is I did hell a lot of so-called frontier science in biological systems. While I went there, just first day, as you go into a corporate world, they wanted me to get a medical certificate. So you are fit to, just a formality, like this. When I come in, you have a formality. So I went to the hospital, and I was waiting in the reception. Then I see a small girl of 6-year-old. This is 1986, I believe, or 85 or 86. I don't remember exactly. 86. 6-year-old girl looking into space, not able to meet the eye-to-eye contact, was missing. So I just sat there and looked around, and her mother walked by. So being what I am, I generally don't keep quiet. I just want to converse with people, I'm a very talkative guy. So I was actually trying to talk to the baby, what is your name and things like that. And she didn't respond. So a mother came all at her, your baby doesn't speak to. What do you want? She said. I said, what's the problem with the baby? She looks beautiful. Yeah, she's been menstruating and the bleeding has not stopped for the last 3 weeks. So I was shocked because where I came from, the ladies used to menstruate at the age of 14. That's what, because just before I left India, I had a case. By the time I left, I was also studying homeopathy. When I started doing my PhD, I chanced upon a medical system called homeopathy, where they declare there is no molecule in the medicinal system. So I was shocked because being a scientist, I just entered the Institute of Science with a lot of merit and things like that. So I said, this homeopathy is bullshit, what nonsense these people are talking. So I just walked into the homeopathy store and carried a medicine and said, I will take this and then see if something happens. So I started experimenting upon my body about homeopathy being bogus and things like that. And then this background experiments I was doing, slowly I was finding the truth of homeopathy. So that was also going on background. So by the time I finished my PhD, I was also a practicing homeopathy doctor. Just then I had cured my friend's wife who had a big uterus fibroid, and they said it is cancerous. They said they have to operate and remove it. But then I told them, if you eat certain food and then if you take this medicine, it will dissolve. No one believed. I was a young boy of 22, 23. And then they said, they laughed at me. But then anyway, he was my friend and it was his wife. I forced them. And then after 6 months, that uterus fibroid was not there and she was okay. So they were all surprised, what is this, what's going on? And that was my experience, and I just left to America because I had to go PDF, and I was from a poor family. I wanted to go to America and make some money. I studied under the street lights when I was growing up. So Nothing else was in my mind at that time. I just went, and then this small girl comes up and says she's bleeding, and I was shocked. What happened? I mean, there's some screw up in the hormones. I mean, that was very obvious because I just did my stupid PhD on steroids. So go there, and then this girl comes up. I was shocked. How come on this planet a girl 6 years old menstruates? And it should happen at the age of 14, as far as I know, because I just did my PhD and I wrote a lot of theses and big blah, blah, blah. Here come, all at a sudden. Then I went into the doctor's office and I said, "Doctor, what is this girl?" I said, "Hey, you have come from the, we don't know." He just shrugged his shoulders like typical American way. Just go and mind your business. That's what he meant. So, but that was not possible. I couldn't sleep for the next 3-4 days. And as usual, I was investigating, and then within 2 days I recognized that whole America was drinking milk that was not natural, and they were already producing in so-called biotechnology, IVF. IVF, you're aware of, I think now many women are going for IVF. It was the case for cows in 1980s. Now every woman is going through IVF almost now. 38% people are going to IVF because they cannot have proper sex and they cannot produce babies. And that's what I mean. It's the extension of this is the first statement of mine when I came and started my talk. So IVF is in vitro fertilization because naturally the fertilization cannot take place. So what these guys do is they inject different kinds of hormones. Again, some of them are being steroids, estrogen and other things. And initially they have growth hormones like oxytocin. And so they change the metabolism so that the cow that produces 1 liter or 1.5 liter milk when it gives birth, now it can give 15 liters or 20 liters of milk. So when it gives 20 liters of milk, what do? These so-called hormones also pass through the system and you have some residues left in the milk. So these guys, for building an economic model, they make more milk, but then they're feeding their babies with this milk for the last 10 years, changed the hormonal balance of the girls. First it is felt in girls, but then slowly it will be felt in boys. And that is the reason why now men have no sperm count. Many of tech guys, especially software engineers, have now got less than 20 million of their sperms, which should be around 100 million to 150 million. All these stories have happened in America long ago. We are just repeating after 20 years, as simple as that. So now what happened there, in 1986, I recognized that these guys, because of this milk, the ladies in America, same problem, work pressure, they started leaving their kids in nurseries. And then this milk, bottles and nipples, all rubber and polymers entered into their lives. And they started giving the milk to the babies at the age of 3 weeks, 4 weeks onwards. They started feeding this extra milk instead of mother's milk. The dance of the steroids slowly changed, and the girls started, instead of menstruating at the age of 14, it became 12, it became 10. In a 15 years gap, many girls in America started menstruating at the age of 8, 9. And when I went, that girl was a rare specimen who started at the age of 6. But then now, the average menstruating period in America is settled around 6.5 to 7. Now in India, it is around 9.5. Because we followed the same model, we imported all these cows and this IVF technology and started producing the same milk, and same stories repeated. Now all the world, the so-called scientific books have written milk, complete food. Who wrote this? The scientists who are promoting milk as babies. Oh, why babies? Everyone should drink because calcium is there in milk. So when I tell stop milk, the next question immediately all over the world, wherever I give lectures, what about calcium? That's what question is bothering in everyone's mind. As if calcium is available only in this milk, nowhere else. In fact, sesame seed has got 10 times more calcium than milk that you are all thinking. And so far, everyone has been drinking milk in tons of it. As if it is not enough, we are eating paneer, which is concentrated milk, and still people have calcium problems because everyone has osteoporosis, rheumatism, calcium tablets, calcium supplements. So people say, oh, we have so many supplements, so your calcium. When you are drinking coffee, tea, milk, ice cream, everything, calcium-rich foods, why is calcium less in your body? No one asked this question. What does that mean? You are not absorbing the calcium. So supplements and these artificial things cannot make your body absorb because body is designed to do things differently. It is designed to absorb from the food, not from your tablets and from artificial food processed items. So fortification became the science. And fortified milk, fortified food, fortified fire, fortified. That's absolute sheer nonsense. It's a business model. It's not the biological model. Because they want to sell their product. They want to sell their steroids. They want to sell their technology. You have IVF, you have this centers. And to the extent that it is science, so milk, complete food, is advertised. In the textbooks, in the TVs, in the news media, everything is controlled by these companies. In America, if you go and say, we are selling hormone-free milk, you will be put in jail. This is an incident that has happened. 8 years jail term is given to a person who said he is selling hormone-free milk. He didn't even sell, he just wrote a sentence. So the whole world is drinking milk. And what is milk after all? Let's define it in its true sense. Milk is a liquid that is produced by mammals to be given directly into the mouth of the baby. That means it is the most unstable product. It has to be delivered directly from the breast, the nipple of the mother to the mouth of the baby. And that is it, period. Anything else is not right. That means the whole human race should not have been taking milk into their mouth, even a single drop of it. Hey, why not cow's milk? Cow's milk is good. For whom? The calf. It is produced by the cow's udder to feed the baby. Not your baby. Not your coffee. Not your paneer, not your ice cream. And we have women shaving, going to beauty parlors, and high-tech laser technology. Beauty parlors are coming up every street corner nowadays, and that is because of hormonal imbalance. And no doctor, no scientist, no university wants to talk about it. So what all a real doctor has to say? Don't drink milk. Now it sounds awkward, isn't it? Someone comes and say, don't drink milk. What the hell this guy is talking about? And the reality, milk can cause hormonal imbalance and immunity problems in a matter of 3 weeks to you. Now the whole world has been drinking milk for the last 30, 40 years. Imagine how much imbalance we are. Totally imbalanced. And that is the main reason why we have problems, health problems. So how can I correct these problems? By tablets? So you go to the doctor, he says your hormone is imbalanced. So what does he do? He gives some more hormone. Heck, the whole balance is so delicate that even if I give you picograms, nanograms, I cannot correct the balance. And so here I am dumping tablets of milligrams. That means like if I need 1 gram, you are dumping on me the ton of it. And how do I expect you to correct your problem? Actually, correcting the problem is as simple as don't drink milk. And so that is your medicine. What are the doctors doing in the world? Has any doctor asked you not to drink milk? Oh, if you don't drink milk, you have calcium problem. So drink milk and take calcium tablet. Is this not thing that is happening? And these are so-called scientists, so-called doctors from the advanced world called America. And all these so-called MBBS, MD doctors from India go to that place, England, get trained. We are foreign returned. And these guys dump everything that they have learnt, whatever it is, on our, and they are experts. And you go round and round these guys, what do they give you? Do you think they are giving you health? They are giving you tablets. This is one example. I can go on rambling like this. Everything they do is nothing but selling tablets. I have diabetes, take this tablet. How long? Lifelong. I have BP, take this tablet. How long? Lifelong. In fact, sense of humor has come into doctors nowadays. You can leave your wife, but not this tablet. Rheumatism, lifelong. Thyroid, lifelong. Migraine, lifelong. Viral infections, every year you have to take flu shots. In fact, in America, there is a flu season, not for flu, it is for the tablets and the injections. Everyone that particular time comes, everyone has to line up. Inside in corporate world, flu shots, everyone has to go and get their flu shots done. If not, you cannot come into the campus. This will not be given for you. This is the sad story of the so-called advanced scientific world. Science is, I don't know where it is. Because they have defined science in terms of economic models. There is no ecology, there is no biology. If they were to have biology as their models and axioms, milk should have been defined first. Food should have been defined first. And this is where the mistake has happened in the human race. And that's why I said, I want to change the world. We want to correct the world. Because the models have been built on money, not on real science. But then this Western world has convinced the other parts of the world that they are the most scientifically advanced world. Just because they made iPhone, just because they can fly a missile. Flying a missile and making a shit go away from your body are two different things. Because the West cannot shit properly. They are constipated. They don't know how to shit in the morning. They take tablets. They take a lot of things. In fact, it's not working. They cannot urinate properly. They don't know when to urinate, how to urinate, because they have lost the sense of urination. It comes out without their knowledge. No problem. We will have a plastic industry, catheter, and 18% of the people are roaming around with bags and catheters because they don't know when the urine comes and when they can stop, when they cannot stop. Because their prostates, their nervous system has lost control. They just walk, the urine comes out. That's why anywhere in the world you go, you know attached bathrooms. Can you believe that you are having a bathroom where you sleep? To the extent that near the bed, the toilet as we just water flows. They have no control because the food they're eating is making their nerves not have any control. This used to happen for old fellows, after leaving 60, 70 years old, they were losing control. But now it is 25-year-old young boys, when they sleep, They should have been sleeping like a log. If they sleep at 10, get up at 6 or 7. Now they get up after 2 hours because they have to urinate. In fact, it is a false alarm. They run, and urine doesn't come. 2 drops fall, and then they have to make effort. All these things are happening in the bodies of human beings. It's not 1, 2, 3 cases. Hundreds. 18% of young boys below 35 have this problem. What do? You go to the doctor, they will say, this happened, that happened, this happened. Ultimately, they will give you a bag and a catheter. Did they give you a solution? No. They didn't cure you. And I can go on rambling. Almost all the diseases are on the same page. Diabetes, absolutely no clue. Because you take 100 MD, MS doctors, 28 doctors have diabetes. You take 28 auto drivers, they also have diabetes out of 100. So what's the difference between auto drivers and doctors? Because diabetes is they're clueless. Cancer, 17%. Thyroid, 32%. That means 32 people out of 100 are taking thyroid tablets. 40 people out of 100 are taking BP tablets. 16% are going through cancer treatments. 26% of people do not get sleep in the night, they take sleeping tablets. 70 people are not able to shit properly, they're taking tablets. Heart blocks, 14 people out of 100 have heart blocks above 50%. 50% of their heart around the heart blocks are there. So now I went on telling you 15, 16, 48, 38, 28. If you add up, it's coming to 250. And you are telling out of 100. That means what? One person has not got one disease. He has BP, he has diabetes, he has thyroid. That's not enough. There are actually people who have 8 diseases. Morning one, evening one. List of 8 tablets. So you keep going to the doctors. What do they give you? They give you tablets. And you think they are giving you? And they call themselves health industry. Are they really healthy? They are managing sickness. They are managing sickness. It was one of my lectures I just spat out without my knowledge. MBBS, business of medicine, business of surgery. They converted everything into business. In fact, no disease is cured in the modern developed countries. No disease is cured. Absolutely. And we still think this is a model to follow. So when I first met that young girl and the doctors had their attitude, I realized this is a science which has no clue what it is doing. So any science should help the living things on this planet. If it doesn't, it is no science at all. So with this motto, if can I help? Okay, enough rambling. This is not all right, that is not all right, this is not all right. What can we do about it? So we start defining these terms. What is food, what is health, what is this, what is that. Only in understanding the true sense of these words, we can create a path to trek and find health. So since then I have been doing this for the last 25 years. And then I said, why the hell do we get diabetes? What is diabetes? What happens? Why the hell so many people are getting diabetes? In fact, just 150 years ago, 1 in a crore used to have this diabetes. Now it is 28 out of 100. Imagine the percentage of increase. 1 in a crore and 28 in 100. And you take most of these so-called modern diseases, it is the same story. So You ask these doctors, they say it is lifestyle diseases, this is hereditary, this is this is that, and then if nothing happens, it's a syndrome which we do not know. They use the word syndrome, that means they don't know what they're talking. Why this is happening? Because they have built economic model. They didn't really build a scientific and biological and ecological model, because they have not defined anything. Basically, they don't know what they're talking. But then, sadly, we all believe that they know what they're doing. And if you talk something, no problem, come, we have operating table. I will remove this, I will remove that, I will get you a new one. I'll remove the heart and put a new heart. I'll remove the liver and put a new liver. I'll put kidney. I will do this. I have built a knee model. Oh, small, middle, large. Oh, my knees are pain. We'll remove that and keep a new one. Buy one, get one free. See how stupid these models are. So why the hell the knee is paining? There is something accumulating in between the two joints. How can I remove that without touching you? What can be done about it? And that is the question to be asked. So sugar, glucose is more in your blood. That's what is diabetes. So they keep checking in the morning, evening, afternoon. So keep checking doesn't help. You need to do something about it. So I have this technique, I have this technology, I have this software, I have this chip that can exactly count your glucose amount and then inject exact amount of insulin. So what? Have you found a solution? No. Why the hell glucose is increasing in the body? Something is wrong here with these models. And that's why we have increase in the number of patients in the last 40 years. No decrease. If we are truly finding solutions, hospitals should have been closed down every 5 years. But what is happening? Every street has increase of hospitals and medical shops. So don't you think this is good enough proof for us that we are traveling in the opposite direction? So if I am a good doctor, I should make the medical shops go away. And I should make the hospitals close down, if not on a weekly basis, at least yearly basis. So if I define my job as a doctor, what do I increase in the society? I increase healthy people in the society. So now we have so many doctors. Doctors are increasing means what? So we are traveling towards an unhealthy society, as simple as that. So now our goal is to close down the hospitals. Can we do that? That's our job. How can we do that? So when we understand what the disease is, the root cause of the disease, and we eliminate that, and then we have health. And that's only the first part. In fact, health is not having disease. It is something beyond. In fact, that's what actually I am intending to do. I'm actually least bothered about your diabetes, your cancer, your migraine. These are all things that will disappear by themselves if I make you healthy. If I make you fight diseases, if the disease doesn't come into your body, then where is the question of curing? So we have a state where your body is strong enough not even to invite these so-called diseases into your body. So can we have a body which can fight all these diseases from the beginning? What I'm talking is not to cure diseases, to eliminate diseases. To eliminate diseases. In fact, I have a dream. After 30 years, our kids should speak. Hey, my father seems had something called diabetes. Hey, my grandfather had something called cancer. They should not be even aware of these conditions. Can we create that kind of world? And that's what I have set out to do. We need to understand what we can do about it. So what is the source of our problems is the food that we are eating. Because 150 years ago, the food that the world was eating was totally different from what we are eating now. And that food, see now the dimension has changed from our body, it has come to a different set of ball games. So the food is gone haywire because of the companies, the fertilizer companies and the pesticide companies created the food, and that's what we are consuming, that's how we are screwed up. So what are these foods that the world has created in the last 50, 60 years that is making us all of sick? And nobody is talking about that. Is wheat, rice, milk, sugar, eggs, and then pigs, and then the cows, and then the chicken. How are these guys creating this in large scale? So the whole world is eating only these materials as food, and that is the problem. And no companies, no multinationals which are involved in these production and then distribution and then all peripheral businesses will not accept that this is the problem. So doctor, you go to doctor, what you say? You eat wheat. Diabetes bandidiya, chapati tinu. The whole world is eating wheat, and as if there is no diabetes elsewhere in the world. The whole world is suffering. We have 28, America has 20, New Zealand has 36% of diabetic patients. So it's not wheat. And then, oh, it's a lifestyle disease. Oh, chief minister's lifestyle is okay. Auto driver's lifestyle is also same because we have 28 auto drivers, diabetic patients. If you take 100 CMs, 28 CMs have goals. So the distribution is pattern is same, whether it is a doctors or this or that. In fact, you take 100 yoga teachers, 28 yoga teachers also have got diabetic patients. Why yoga teachers? Take Swamijis. 100 Swamijis, they also have got 28, not 28, actually 38 Swamijis have got diabetes. So that means we have no clue about what is going on. Neither Swamijis, nor yoga teachers, nor doctors, nor scientists. You go to CFTRI, so-called Food Technology Research Institute, take 100 scientists, 30 scientists have got diabetes. And they call themselves food technologists. They are technologists. They are processing the food after the food. They don't know what food they are processing. And then we have all these so-called guys, oh, to cook the rice in aluminum is bad, to cook the rice in steel is bad, to cook the pressure cooker. Okay, whatever you are cooking, wherever you are cooking, what are you cooking is more important. Whether you cook in steel or mud pot. Of course, you can say cooking in mud pot is better than steel. Steel is better than aluminum. Aluminum is better than this so-called non-stick pans and non-stick materials. They are all polymerized. You have all the polymer particles going to your body. After 6 weeks of dosa making on non-stick tawa, the tawa becomes sticking. So what happened to that non-stick material? It has gone into your tummy. And that is nothing but contaminating your celiac area where the absorption of nutrients takes place. That part becomes hydrophobic instead of being hydrophilic. If you absorb water, you can absorb all the nutrients. And that's how many foreigners, many Europeans started losing their hair. They're all baldies before even they're 30. The reason is their absorbing capacity of this zinc, selenium, copper, this micronutrients is completely gone out of the way, and then they lose their hair because for their hair to be strong. In fact, that is another parameter. Out of crore women, 1 woman is supposed to be baldy genetically. But now it is 3 women out of 100 are bald heads. That itself speaks volumes of how deranged we are health-wise. Of course, men, lot of people are bald. I think now it used to be 21% bald head after 45, men. Now it is 60% baldhead after 45. This is the world statistics. That shows, these are all the examples that I keep rambling to help you understand where we are going. So most of you young people, I have no problem, this fellow is simply talking somewhere else. But then you have to look at the whole human race from time zone to time zone and assess. But then we keep getting lot of misinformation from these companies that the time is increased. We are living more years than before. But what are the parameters? There were accidents, there were animals, there were lot of fighting. So people were dying not because of disease. People were fighting the elements and then dying. So you cannot say, see, here we have been cheated. Earlier they were living only 40 years, now we are living. So you go on building everything around you, no animal attacks you, so more number of people are alive, that's all. So I'll put the same 100 fellows, this so-called in the forest, let me see how many live. You understand what I'm talking? So all these numbers that we throw up are all bogus numbers because the parameters are different, the situations are different. But then this scientific world in quotes has the way of convincing people throwing these numbers at you. So all these are cooked up. And you know software guys, how you can cook up. No issues. But the reality is that we are all sick. How to get out of this? So you need to define the food, and the food is something which releases glucose slowly and steadily into your body. We need glucose. Glucose is the chemical that is burnt by oxygen to release energy, which is trapped by ATP. It is a battery-like molecule, adenosine triphosphate. There is a mechanism called mitochondria. It's a whole assembly line which traps the energy and makes this molecule, triphosphate molecule, wherever energy, I want to move my body, I want to move my eyelid, I want to shit, I want to sleep, I want to breathe. For everything we need energy, and that biological energy is supplied by ATP. And to create ATP in the system, in the cells, you need to burn glucose in each and every cell there and then. I cannot create ATP here and then transport it there. So each cell cluster creates its own ATP. It's all decentralized. There is no centralized way of doing things and then take the ATP there. So it does that. So instead of creating ATP in one space and then distributing, it makes glucose from our blood, distributes into different cells, and then the oxygen goes there. The body, hemoglobin carries the oxygen from the lungs. Hemoglobin goes into the cell and burns the glucose, and then ATP is made. And all these calculations are done, and however much you need ATP, that much is produced. And if you work, if I expend that, then some more amount of glucose goes in, some more gets burnt and things like that. Then if you don't burn the glucose that has gone into the cell, it rooks around for some time, no one is burning me, and it just comes back to the blood. So what happens? The glucose in the blood starts increasing, because if you do not work, so to burn 1 gram of glucose from the blood in the cells, you need to walk 15 minutes. So we have 5 grams of blood, 5 liters of blood in our body approximately. And if you are a big fellow, you have 6 liters. If you are a small fellow, 4.5 liters. But average is 5 to 6 liters. So you have 5 grams of glucose always in the blood. Wherever requirement, it keeps giving. And if you have more glucose in the blood, which we are actually supplying too much through our food, because the food that we are eating in the last 30, 40 years does not have a control in the glucose release. So if you eat 100 grams of rice, instead of going through 108 steps of digestive process of hydrolytic steps, it just completes in 15 minutes, because there is no fiber to hold the carbohydrate hydrolysis. the whole 70 grams of carbohydrate in the rice. You have that one table I had given. Just I saw, flashed. Yeah. The contents of each grain. And so it gets converted into glucose in a matter of 15 to 20 minutes. So you have dumped in your blood around 35 grams of glucose in a matter of 15, 20 minutes. And if you eat wheat, yeah, here it is. Check this out. Paddy rice, 79 grams of carbohydrate. 79 grams. Oops. I thought I can move. This right side is also. Okay. Wheat, it is 76, not very much different. And how much is the fiber? You have 0.2 grams and you have 1.2 grams. And the structure of the grain is you have only 0.2 grams of fiber above the grain. So once you even just pound it, the fiber is gone. And now we don't eat pound rice. We are eating polished rice. The machine polishes and then totally zero. You have no fiber at all. And the wheat, whatever 1.2 grams is there, is treated with alloxan. What is alloxan? Is a bleaching powder-like chemical which oxidizes whatever little fiber is there to make it finer powder. That's what is your atta. There is no fiber, zero fiber. So out of 75 to 76 grams, what is carbohydrate? It is a series of monomer, either glucose, fructose, then becomes sucrose, and sucrose like that, it builds up polycarbohydrates. What happens when we digest? It becomes monomers. So ultimately, the end product of digestion is producing glucose. So the sucrose giving glucose and fructose builds up into the body. So when you eat 100 grams of rice or wheat, you approximately get around 30 grams of glucose into your blood in no time, 15 to 20 minutes. So you drink coffee, you drink juice, you drink Pepsi, you drink Coke. Now all of our big stars are selling Pepsi, Coke, Thumbs Up, but they are not selling any. They are selling 45 grams of sugar in 100 ml of water. So 45 grams of sugar means 22.5 grams of glucose in a shot. So in a day, if you calculate, you are loading approximately 150 to 170 grams of glucose in your blood in one day. But then I told you, if you want to burn 1 gram of glucose to carbon dioxide, what do? We need to walk 15 minutes. So if I want to burn 5 grams of glucose, how much time I should walk? 75 minutes. So now I have 175 grams. How many? You need more than 30 hours. And we have only 24 hours in a day. But does anyone walk even 1 hour, 2 hours a day? So if you walk 2 or 2.5 hours, you consume around 10 to 12 grams of glucose, and there is enough potential created. So the blood is discharged of glucose, so it wants more glucose, so you can eat. But then we are all techies, and in fact we have converted even the farmers into techies. Even to give water in the farms, you have all these apps and this and that. I can sit here and then press, I can watch and it's going. Okay. And that's the world. So no one works, no one is using glucose burning, but we are eating. Belige idre toothpaste has got, I'm not talking about all the chemicals, I'm just talking about the sugar. Sugar itself is poison for us because we are dumping so much, but we are not using it. So what is happening? You are accumulating glucose in the blood. Tons of it now. What does the body do? It's not foolish, just like us. There is a liver, there is a spleen, there is a kidney, there is a gallbladder, all these things and many more ductless glands. They all gang up and say, hey, we know how to convert this glucose into cholesterol, because cholesterol is needed to make vitamin D. So there is a pathway. So let's get into this. So we make some cholesterol. But how much cholesterol you make? You go on making cholesterol, there's a problem. So that's where the steroids come. Supervisors, hey, that's enough. Now let's make triglycerides, because triglycerides are needed to keep something going. But how much? You keep making some more, because there's a lot of glucose. So you make cholesterol little more than required, because there is not much problem. Salpa jasti adare ಏನು ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, just make it. Another triglycerides. So rheumatic factor we needed to fight some antigens. So some of it will produce. So the body starts getting into emergency operations, because to take care of the stupid glucose that we have been dumping without control, it starts making all these products. They were all necessary for us to some extent. But then this fellow is not stopping here. It keeps coming. So I keep making something, because if that is there in the blood, what happens? If you put sugar here, in 2-3 hours, it starts absorbing water. Am I right? Sugar absorbs water. So the moisture makes it liquid. Same thing happens in the blood, because you have too much sugar, it starts absorbing water from the cells. Then the cells are parched, because water is required. We are 75% our body is water. Each and every cell has to be with water 75%. If water is less, we go and drink water. Am I right? So if you have a lot of sugar in your blood, what happens is you start feeling thirsty, because it starts absorbing water from all the cells. So to quench the thirst, we drink a lot of water. When you have a lot of water in the body, the kidney kicks in and starts filtering. So after drink water, you want bathroom attached. So that's why even before you build your office rooms, where are the bathrooms? Because you want to keep going to the bathroom. So to avoid that condition, the body is making all these adjustments. The emergency dance is going on. But we have enough of glucose in the body that it makes cholesterol, it makes triglycerides, it makes aromatic factor, it makes glycogen. Glycogen is again packing of the glucose. If we have not got enough sometime in the future, I need to feed my body it storage material. And enough glycogen is stored, it will make some fat. Enough fat is then it makes some meat. So that starts, people start building up their bodies. Oh, no problem, this is called obesity. These doctors named him as another disease. So people start obese. In fact, in America, young boys and girls are weighing more than 80 kilos at the age of 17. The same problem has come to India. Now, many are obese. No one need to be obese actually, if we only know how to deal with this glucose. Because we don't know how to deal with glucose, so you have become obese, your cholesterol has gone high, your triglycerides have gone high, your fat material has gone high. So what to do with this extra fat? It starts tapping it into the blood vessels. Then your blood vessels are blocked, your heart is blocked. No problem, come, we'll remove the blocks, we'll put the stent. So these guys are talking about something else. The problem is somewhere else. So the whole root cause of the problem is this excess glucose in your, whether it is for your rheumatism, that's your cholesterol, that's your triglycerides, that's your BP, that's your diabetes. So this much adjustments are done and nothing else is happening because we have still excess glucose. The blood itself is being dropped onto the glucose. So the hemoglobin itself is coated with glucose, and that is called HbA1c. So hemoglobin is now taking the glucose onto itself and roaming around. So what was the job of hemoglobin? To carry oxygen and burn the glucose. Now glucose itself is sitting on it. So the oxygen is dislodged, then you start feeling tired. So when the HbA1c increases in your blood, you become diabetic. And because that should have been 6, now you have 7, 8, 9, 10. People are now at 12 HbA1c. Your hemoglobin should be 12. Hemoglobin is coming down. HbA1c is going up. So now I have described you many processes. It is due to the excess of glucose. Anything can happen first. If your body's nature is that you could have HbA1c high go first, or cholesterol go high first, or triglycerides, or rheumatism. So depending upon your body and your activities, either you become rheumatic patient, or BP patient, or triglyceride patient, or diabetes patient. And it's actually the situation is not that. Everyone is becoming all the patients over a period of time now. Either you are becoming diabetic first, or BP later, or BP first, or diabetic later. And that is the scenario we find in the present day world. Am I right? So where is the root cause of all the diseases now, the modern diseases? It is the food. Now no doctor in the world, no curriculum in the world talks about food. You have this, you take this tablet. You have this, you do this. You have this, you do that. You have this. You do all the things together. You see where we are and where the problem is? I have lost, say I forget this here and go away. And then I search in Bangalore city. Will I get this? I have to come back and search here. So where the problem is, that's where you need to work. But no one is working in where the problem is. The problem is food. So if your food is not right, whatever medicines you take, how will it work? But then how are these doctors trained now? You eat whatever you want, you take this tablet. ಏನಾದರೂ ತಿನ್ನಪ್ಪ ಈ ಟ್ಯಾಬ್ಲೆಟ್ ತಗೋ. ಇನ್ನು ಎಷ್ಟು ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದು ಪೆಗ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೂ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಪೆಗ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ಮಗ್ಗ ಖಾಲಿ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. And this is the sad story of modern world. You see, we have no connection for what we are doing, and we are all made to believe that this is the science. So how can I cure a patient who is diabetic, who is cancer, who has migraine, unless I change the food? So I need to find a food, not drugs. If I find drugs, I will make you addicts. And that's what the world is all about. Now all are drug addicts. Maybe BP drug addict, diabetes drug addict, steroid drug addict, all are addicts. You're all addicted to something or the other. And that's what this economic model wants. You all have to be addicted to something or the other so I can keep selling that. This is the bottom line in the corporate language. So you're all there. You're fixed. I use the word fixed in many dimensions. You're all fixed. Fixed on drugs, fixed on addictions, and so you keep going round and round and round. So that's why you're all becoming sicker and sicker and sicker. You see the futile processes that you are being running around. So you want to become healthy? Please look around. Look differently. Think out of the box. The box is not right. Here comes the wonderful grains. Here. So what do? We need to change the grain. The food that can release glucose slowly and steadily instead of flooding the blood. And that mechanism God has created in these wonderful 5 grains. So all this bashing that I have done, bear with me. I don't have any intention of scolding anyone. But this is the mistake the whole human race has done. So if we want to get out of this deadlock, we need to think differently. We need to do things differently. So if we continue in the same cycle, nothing will happen. So you see the sugar. don't think there is no carbohydrate in the grains that I am proposing to eat. This is 76, this is 69.7, 70. So enough of carbohydrate is there. Not that there is not enough. But the difference is you have, along with that, fiber enriched. I use the word enriched. Enriched means not more. Just enough to do the job. So many people think that when I say Siridhanya, it has high fiber. No, doesn't have high fiber. It has enough fiber. It is the right fiber, right amount of fiber. So 60 grams to 8 grams, 65 grams to 9.8, and this corle called brown top millet has got 12.5%. And how is it arranged? What if this 12.5% fiber, just like rice, if it is on the upper layer, then when you dehusk it, you will lose that also. So there is no use. So that means something else has to be done. So what does God do? He starts arranging the fiber from the center into layers, those concentric circles, so different layers. So you have the fiber and the carbohydrate fiber and the carbohydrate fiber and the sugars entangled, interlinked in a complex and complicated fashion. That is the distribution of fiber. And so now when I eat this grain, I don't get my glucose suddenly because I need to get rid of this fiber and release the glucose into my body slowly and steadily. And that's exactly what happens when you eat 100 grams of brown top millet. It takes 8 hours to release the glucose into your blood. What does it do? It does step by step, quantum by quantum. So in aliquots, in small quantities, 3 grams, 5 grams, 4 grams. So even if I grind this grain, make a flour, the carbohydrate and the fiber is not separated. Only your digestive process can remove that. But then to do that, you need to make the process easy. If you just eat like that, the fiber does not get separated. It has to be soaked with water. Only soaking, after absorbing a lot of water, the fiber starts expanding and gets ready to be digested. So now the problem for all of us is Amitabh Bachchan has come for the last 20 years. No mother is needed, no father is needed. 2 minutes, noodles. So all kids can go and put this in hot water and make noodles ready. Thumba chanagide. And this is the image this great Amitabh Bachchan has given the whole India. And now why kids? Navu tintivi. So all people stopped cooking properly. They are all quick food. 2 minutes alli ready agbeku. I have no time. Mahindra Tech closes the gate. Run, run, run. So everyone stopped cooking. 2 minutes cooking has come into vogue. And on top of it, MTR Mayas, oh, this packet, that packet. 2 minutes instant puliogre, 2 minutes, all these food technologies, food processing, oh, big industry, big industry. So all these machines come into picture. They forgot what they are cooking, as I said, no. They don't know what they are cooking, but they are cooking. They don't know what they are doing. So you cannot cook things 2 minutes with these grains. You got to soak them. Soak, even if it is flour, you have to soak. So roti madbekandrunu with wheat and rice, you don't need to soak. You can just cook because it's just carbohydrate, pista, nothing else. But that doesn't work here. So you need to get back to the real cooking methods. That means you soak in the night. It will take generally 6 to 8 hours of soaking to make the fiber release itself, get prepared to cook. Then it gets cooked in 5 to 10 minutes. Even in the mud pot you can cook. So you need to learn how to. Many people in the initial stages, I used to say, take the thing and eat, because if you eat first, then you get something. So earlier in my lectures, first maybe 2011, 2012, I used to soak them for half an hour, because if I tell you have to soak for 8 hours, oh, this mad fellow is just, no one will even listen to me. So initially I also did the trick of saying, even if you soak half an hour, the top part of it slowly releases. But then you will have some stomach pain and then some small boils, because if you eat uncooked fiber, it starts hitting you hard. But despite that, you start feeling the benefits of it, because the glucose doesn't run into your blood. So the body, the parts start getting the freedom of working on the real things. So when you see, this is the sad story. Glucose is very much required for our living, but then it becomes more, it is the poison. In fact, it starts disturbing your immunity. So a gram of sugar can put you back 6 months as far as your immunity is concerned. So touching a gram of sugar makes you that much disease prone. So if you avoid sugar completely, zero sugar, I guarantee you can face dengue, pangu, chikungunya, hyphae, every day, no problem at all, because the bone marrow is ready to face all these kinds of viruses. If you take sugar, you are in trouble, because your body is not able to produce the antibodies that are required. You see the difference now? So the moment you don't take rice, sugar, wheat, and then how producing the meat and the eggs is another different dimension. They are making soybean and corn, mix them with steroids, and make the chicken, cows, pigs eat 16 hours a day, and then the meat is produced. So the residues of all these chemicals, in 100 grams of egg, you are consuming 8 times more chemicals compared to a kilo of vegetable or a kilo of rice or a kilo of wheat. So the chemicals start doing their dance in your body and then start disturbing your DNA, and the cancerous conditions take place. And especially the soybean glyphosate, which is used to make soybean, the herbicide, is #1 carcinogenic material. So people are eating soybean left and right, and the cancer has been increasing. Wherever there is meat-eating countries, you have cancer more. It's not because the meat, the way we produce meat, contains a lot of steroids. Even regular, normal, natural meat has a lot of steroids. Because body functions, you need all these chemicals. So if we load ourselves with the extra steroids, our systems get imbalanced. And that's why, in fact, literally people are getting imbalanced. That's called Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, and they are increasing in number in other countries, especially meat-eating countries. You have Parkinson now 17%, 18%. Parkinson's is you don't know who you are. You start losing the balance of the nerves itself, and your body starts dancing. They have different names. They don't have no control. Their hand keeps on shaking and shaking and shaking. They don't know that it is shaking. They cannot hold, they cannot write, they cannot sign. All these very pathetic conditions we are getting into. All these conditions can be reversed, absolutely reversed, in a matter of 6 months to 2 years if we change the conditions of the food. So simple, logical, and very scientific method is to change our food rather than taking the tablet. So who do you need to go around? Not doctors. If you want health, you need to go around people who can grow these grains. And these grains traditionally are grown where there is no rain. That means even just 4 rains can produce these grains. 200 liters, all that it takes to produce 1 kilo of these 5 grains. And these grains are termed as neutral grains because of the ratio. Actually, there is another table which is to be supplied. If you actually divide 60 by 8, 65 by 9.8, you get, it's all in single digits, below 10. And if you do the same process here with these grains, pearl millet to This is all above 25. So the ratio of fiber to carbohydrate in these 5 grains is below 10. And that's how it gives you health. And all other grains are above 20, the ratio. See, take this pearl millet, 67 by 1.2. So it's almost around 35 or something like that. And the same thing with wheat. And you see 66 by almost 3. So it's around 23. If you do 60 by 8, the ratio is 8, approximately 7 point something. And 70 by 12.5 is 5.5 for brown top millet. So the lesser the ratio, the health giving conditions. So what it actually means is that if you take this kind of grains, this will not cure your any disease. So if you are diabetic, if you eat ragi, it will not cure your diabetes. But if you eat only ragi and nothing else, you will not invite disease, but it will not cure you of any disease. So this has no healing properties, but it can maintain you. That's why we call them neutral grains. Neither it takes you into positive domain or negative domain. But you are already sick, it cannot lift you up. So most of us are now eating ragi and rice and wheat, so you become sick only. So this is 0 value, this is minus 100, these are plus 100. So now if you are in the minus, you have to eat positive grains. That's why we also termed as of positive grains, which has got high fiber content. I use the word high fiber content, but it is the right fiber content for our body needs. So many people, many experts, it's high fiber, don't eat. It's not high fiber, but it is high fiber with relative relationship with these 2 grains. See, you have 0.2 grams and 8 grams. It's almost 40 times more. So it is high fiber, that's what they call. But I call them right fiber. For us to do the job, to release the glucose slowly and steadily into your blood. So now the definition of food comes into picture. What is the definition? A food is one which releases glucose into our blood slowly and steadily in a balanced. And once we figured this out, our health is in our hands. So now if you eat all the time these grains, even if you are sick, your health comes back. So this being the proposition, I started searching for these grains and then went to different farmers and collected the seeds. In fact, we had hardly left these seeds, and then I brought them and grew them, large quantities, and collected some 10 diabetes gangrene patients. We gave them, within 3 days, this gangrene disappeared. And once you have gangrene, it is the job of doctors is to remove the legs, fingers, and then supply them with artificial. So it started, the journey started, and I don't know how many I have cured now. I have no count. It is thousands and thousands and thousands. Now it's gone to lakhs because people are not even coming to me. I have been giving this, and we have made books, PDF, and it is free. You can go to Google and download. It's in English, it's in Kannada, it's in Telugu, it's in Hindi, all kinds of things. And anyone can download free and then start eating these grains. And you can feel the difference. And it's a matter of 6 weeks. Everyone starts experience this health. We're not talking about disease here. We're talking about health. Your body is finding that health in the system because the glucose is not flooding your blood. Once that is not there, the system is left free to function in all dimensions, to clean up, to maintain, to do this, to do that. And all these organs end up doing their job properly, you become healthy. And that's the magic. And I don't like the word magic because magic and miracle can be done once in a while. But this is based on sheer science. It doesn't matter. You can line up lakhs of people, follow these simple principles, all the lakh can be healed if they have time. And many people are at the end stage, they may die. Some of them may die because we may not be able to help. We have enough time. And we ended up curing so-called cancer patients, so-called HIV patients, so-called SLE patients, so-called multiple sclerosis, so-called brain tumors, so-called fibroids, so-called breast cancer. So we listed different kinds of cancers, different kinds of, what kind of grains you need to eat, because each grain has a different capacity. So the Foxtail cleans up. That file is there, different. It is there, you can go through. Foxtail does clean up your nervous system and lungs. Kodo millet, Arca cleans up your blood and bone marrow. Barnyard cleans up your brain and liver. And your brown top cleans up almost every part of your body, especially the digestive system. So you have anal cancer, esophageal cancer, stomach cancer, the brown top comes into picture. You have blood cancer, Kodo millet comes into picture. Lung cancer, your Foxtail comes into picture. So different organs are cleaned and maintained by different grains. Grains means basically it is the fiber. The fiber is two kinds. One is soluble fiber, another is non-soluble fiber. So the soluble fiber is in the blood, cleaning up all the systems. The insoluble fiber is in the rectal area to the large intestine. It coats that area and it becomes hydrophilic and starts absorbing the right nutrients and starts making things happen. So you shit properly. The first thing you do is you shit properly. And the shit doesn't stick to your pan. When you pour 2 tumblers of water, it washes away. If you eat rice, wheat, and other these materials, the shit doesn't go away. You need to end up throwing 15 buckets of water. So that is the first and simple parameter you can look for. You are becoming healthy, you start using less water to clean your toilet. And that is the most important thing needed for the future generation. We have no water. Water. Water is the same. There is not a single drop more or single drop less on this planet. And we have only got 3% of drinking water, means potable water, the real water, the remaining all in the ocean. And out of 3%, 2.7% of the water is locked up in the South Pole and North Pole. Only 0.3% of water is available for all our activities, out of which 0.2% is gone to make this meat and other agricultural produce. So the scientists are not talking the real thing. So it is this food that we are, in quotes, consuming all the water actually. 66% of water is gone, producing your sugar, producing your meat, producing your rice, producing your wheat, producing your eggs. And we keep fighting for water because you are producing sugar cane. 12 months you need to irrigate. And to irrigate 12 months, you need to put fertilizers. To put once fertilizer, you have disease. So you have pesticide. This is the business model. So we are all made to believe that producing sugar cane, producing banana. How you know why banana is produced? As I told you, peg of wine. Banana, drakshi, all these are going towards producing liquor. And innu worse, 16% of the land is consumed by arecanut and tobacco. Tobacco is tobacco. So in fact, total agricultural land consumed by the human race, 28% is to produce this nashe padartha, addictive drugs. In fact, now the so-called progressing state California removed and made a law that morphine can be sold. Now whole Himalayan landscape is changed. They are growing only marijuana. See how we have changed. So we are using 26% of our land to produce all these nonsensical methods, materials. That is sugar, tobacco, araknut. All this araknut is used for the drug coating, the raw material or the base material for all these drugs, morphine, codeine. As if it is not enough, we have what is called chocolate. Chocolate has got theobromine, is another addictive chemical, just like nicotine in cigarette, caffeine in coffee, and coffee tea is killer. It is killing all the rivers. So if you are all morning giving coffee and tea, mugs of coffee, you are cutting all the forest in the mountain and the ranges. So the whole Himalayan mountain range is gone for tea. Tata tea, tea, all teas, all estates. And our Madikeri and all gone for coffee. The same thing in Brazil, same thing in West. Every mountain range is completely occupied by tea and coffee, and that's how the rivers are drying up. So you are all drinking coffee and tea, you are drying up our Kaveri. It has become perennial. Now it's no more Jivanadi. Not only our river, the whole bloody story of all rivers is connected to coffee and tea and sugar. To produce this, we are drying up. So I keep yelling, please stop drinking coffee and tea. It is killing both you and the planet. You are being imbalanced hormonally, and the system is getting imbalanced. So you need to start thinking what we are eating is not just killing us, killing all the animals on this planet. If we stop coffee and tea from tomorrow, within 6 months, the planet will be a much better place to live. Can we do that? No, we cannot, because we are addicted. Coffee is caffeine. It will not stop. ಏನಾದರೂ ಹೇಳಪ್ಪ ಖಾದ್ರೆ ನೀನು ನನಗೆ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಎದ್ದು ಒಂದು ಕಾಫಿ ಲೋಟ ಬೇಕೇ ಬೇಕು. And it is a reality, because it is an alkaloid which enslaves you. It is the addiction process. So to get out, we have found some other wonderful thing. Honge, Pongemia is a plant which kashaya, you can come out of this addiction. Not only coffee addiction, alcohol addiction. Not only alcohol addiction, even drug addiction. Lot of people in the villages are all taking this pan parag. Many techies are also doing that. Many. They have this pan, different, like this, put it in the mouth, smoke, drink, all the kinds of things. Addictions can be come out. There are 3 kashayas. Honge antivi Kannadadalli, Kanuga antare Telugali, Pongemia antare, Pongemia, that kashaya, and then castor oil, Aralu bija, Amudam antar Telugu. So these, and Tinospora, Amrutaballi antare. These 3 kashayas, weekly once you rotate and drink. You drink coffee, before drinking coffee you drink this kashaya. So after 3 to 4 weeks, if you do this practice, you do not want to drink coffee anymore. Slowly and steadily, you can come out of these addictions. And in fact, alcoholics, drug addicts can do this. But the only requirement is you need to think to stop that. And if you don't want to stop, no one can help. Isn't it? So if you have the de-addiction in your mind, that is in your mind, who is addicted has to think that he has to stop, then it can be helped. You can help that person with these kashayams. Mungemia, Aralu bija, that is castor oil leaf, and then Tinospora, that is Amrutaballi. So like that, we have got around 40 to 50 kashayas to help at different conditions for special children. Autism, specially equipped children, attention deficit kids, hyperactive kids. All these are names for the young boys and girls born completely screwed up because of our food pattern. 28% of the kids are born in the world now completely deranged. It's all because of the food. So young girls and boys, if you want right kids, healthy kids, stop eating rice, wheat, milk, coffee, tea, all. Coffee, tea is major reason for your nervous system to be screwed up. So if you don't want ADHD kids, stop coffee and tea tomorrow. It will take 6 months to clean up your body. After that, you go for consumption. then you will have 100% of chance not having this ADHD kids. Otherwise, you have 28% of chance to get these kids. And this doctors say it is hereditary, this and that and all that. It's all bullshit. It's all the food that takes care of all these things. Hereditary, I look like my mother or I look like my mother's brother. That is hereditary. She got the joke. So, there is no hereditary. Diseases are not hereditary. Only very, very few diseases are hereditary. All of it is made out of this food. If your food is right, no need of any medicine. And if your food is not right, no medicine will work. But then what are we doing? I'll go to naturopathy, I'll go to homeopathy, I'll go to allopathy, I'll do tatopathy. Tatopathy ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾ ನಿಮಗೆ? ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ? ಉಚ್ಚೆ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅದನ್ನು ಕುಡಿಯೋದು. ಕಕ್ಕ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅದನ್ನು ತಿನ್ನೋದು. They are doing that kind of experiments. Oh, your own shit, you have this, oh, you do this, do this. ಸೊ ನ್ಯಾಚುರೋಪತಿ ಆಯಿತು, ಅಲ್ಲೋಪತಿ ಆಯಿತು, ಹೋಮಿಯೋಪತಿ ಆಯಿತು, ಟಾಟೋಪತಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ತಿರುಪತಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ದೇವರ ತಿರುಪತಿ. All pathis, you will become Draupadi, nothing else. So, where do you want to go? Go to the farmers. They are the ones who will give you health. But then we are running around hospitals and all this nonsense. No disease will be cured for you. It's all they're managing. As I told you, management of all this MBBS, business management laga, business medicine, business surgery. Absolutely we are out of whack. And we all believe that we are advancing. Oh, I can show you your brain, your tumor, this inch by inch, vernier calipers. Oh, this much tumor is there, this much. Okay, it is there, I can see. What do we do with that is the question. Oh, I remove it, I'll do chemotherapy, I will do this therapy. After 6 months, oh, it has spread to this. It is called metastasis. Oh, we don't understand. Meta means we don't understand. The whole bloody thing is a one thing, where is to understand. From here it goes. Well, the whole thing is connected. And what is the big deal to understand it? Am I right? So in the first place, this tumor should not come. Even if it is there, how do we dissolve it? How do we reverse it? It is through the food you can reverse it. And that's what we have done. Umpteen number of patients, not 1, 2, 3, to write a paper. But thousands of them have been cured. Thousands of gangrene cases, thousands of diabetic patients. HbA1c 12, they have got 5. Back to 5 in a matter of 6 months. But then the problem is the system. We are not willing to let go. Oh, rice ತಿಂತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ ಇಷ್ಟು ದಿವಸನೇ ಯಾಕೆ ಬಿಡೋದು ಅಂತ. You got to get out of it. Coffee is worse because you go to any Brahmin's house, you tell them leave coffee, they'll just kill you. Just like go to Muslims and say stop eating meat, they'll just kill. So a Brahmin to be asked to get rid of coffee and a Muslim to be asked to get rid of meat is absolutely the same. So difficult. But then it is getting rid of this so-called food is what is health all about. Can we do that? It is a tough task because the system has to change. And who will change? Who will change? We are the ones who are in it. So no one will come and change it. We need to change things. We need to work at it. So all you guys want to eat millets, then the farmers will produce millet. And then if you just say, I want to eat millet, that actually is good enough. Because you are all ordering in Amazon and say pizza, burger, noodles. Then who will eat millets? Then if you don't order them, after a few years, the seed cannot germinate. The seeds can germinate after 6 months to 3 years. And then after 6, 7 years, they lose their capacity to germinate. So now if there is no recycling of this germinating materials over a period of time, you will lose all the seeds, and that's what has happened. The world has lost wonderful diversified food materials in the last 15 to 20 years. But there were no seeds. In fact, that's called Foxtail Millet. Corallu is called Foxtail Millet. It's an Italian millet. All over Italy, people are eating Foxtail Millet. And then barnyard millet is called Japanese millet and German millet. Just 150 years ago, the whole Germany was eating this grain. And Andu Corallu, Corle, brown top millet is American millet, for your kind information. They were eating this. Now they are feeding the birds. And they are eating the stupid things. And if they are stupid, following them, what are we becoming? We are becoming idiotic. That's all that is happening. They are fools, we are idiots. Nothing else. So here I stand and tell that this is the food that you want, and I am not asking you to just believe me. Just 6 weeks. Whether you, whatever disease you have, I care 2 hoots about it. You write down. Cancer, gangrene, HIV, SLE, some syndrome, Group-Zir syndrome, R syndrome. Because if they don't, they write some syndrome, all syndromes. Close the envelope, eat 6 months to 2 years, depending upon what problems you have. Many, 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 thousands are reporting within 6 weeks they start feeling the difference. And I tell them, wait. And in fact, on YouTube, YouTube eye pickers, they keep giving titles, all out of the world titles. In 1 day, your stomach will go down. In 2 days, you are all right like that. Don't believe all that. You go to YouTube and see a lot of videos of mine are there, Dr. Khadar, and the titles are this. There is no connection at all. But then YouTube, eye pickers, you know all these issues. So listen to them carefully. There are teasers, there is 2 hours lectures, half an hour lectures, and various question and answers. Almost every question that you can conceive has been asked and answered. A lot of time, the one thing that comes up is, oh, millets are goitrogenous and thyroid problem increases. And that is still making rounds in the social media, which is the stupidest thing that I can hear about. Because there are 28 thyroid patients now, every part of the world, and all of them have not eaten millets. They don't even know millets. So how is it that all the 28 people who have thyroid problem have not eaten millets and still they have thyroid? In fact, it is these 5 grains, I have cured thousands of thyroid patients. Thousands, and I have no count. In my clinic only. I am so-called homeopathy doctor. Every day I see 100 to 200 patients. And most of them are cured every day. So for the last 15 years, just count. The sheer number is mind-boggling. And afterwards, I started going around almost Karnataka and Andhra. In fact, now I have to go out of the country. Many people are calling, and I'm trying to accommodate all this. And just eating these 5 grains, everyone will start feeling better. But now the task is to produce enough. So I have to go to the villages and then make them. In fact, we have a small place. I have transformed a 7 acres infertile land into a forest. And we have named as forest jungle farming in English. In Kannada, Kadu Krushi anteve. Telugu alli Atavi Krushi anteve. So how do we produce all these various wonderful materials? I have done a lot of work, and we have been teaching a lot of farmers and even techies who are interested to learn. In fact, everyone should have the experience of how to grow, how to process, and without losing all the nutrients. All those lectures, classes are conducted all over. And in fact, we go to different villages and trying to demonstrate and teach the farmers, because we want to give food to the whole world. And we are trying to educate them not to have centralized models. So you produce your food, you process there, you eat. Don't transport, because transportation is actually 15% of the carbon footprint on this world. Because of this high-end transportation and logistics, we are creating. I hope you understand what is carbon footprint. So 15% of carbon footprint is because of transportation. So we also, to develop a future model of the world, we need to think of doing this logistics reverse. So there should not be transportation. As much as possible, we need to cut down the transportation. So how do we do that then? We need to produce food there, process there, eat there. So locally grown, locally processed, locally consumed. And then little bit left, then you need to go where there is no facility to produce. That kind of model, that kind of world we need to envision and then start working at it. So all these kinds of issues are on the table, but the first issue is to produce the right food and eat right, then become healthy. Once we become healthy, I think we can actually deal with the problems much more efficiently. So the first task for me to address is how to make people healthy. I'm not actually trying to cure you people. I'm trying to think of how to make you healthy. And to make you healthy, I need to convince you guys that what you're eating is wrong and change the food. And that's it. So are you with me? Yes. Have I made a dent in your consciousness that you are eating wrong and there is a need for you to change? I'm not saying that you are convinced completely, but it is that there is a room and there is a different perspective of what you have convinced, and you are living in that. You didn't even think that there is something else that exists. So if I have made that much dent into your minds and consciousness, my job of visiting here is done. And further, if you think after another 6 months you need me to come back, I will come back. But still then, I will wait, and the floor is open for questions. Or you want me to speak some more about all these different things?
I can just display this and the cancer chart. You can just explain.
Yeah, okay. So we have actually got a list of different kinds of conditions that people are suffering from, and the foods that you need to eat, and then the kashayas that you need to make. So how to make kashaya, how to make food, how to cook these things. There's a list of things that you need to start educating yourself about. And then, again, don't go to Mayas and MTRs. You start cooking, you start making things happen in your kitchens. And because we have now got no kitchens we have 3-bedroom and 1 hall, and no kitchen. In America, and no kitchen. Because it's all taken up by McDonald's and KFCs. And what is KFC supplying you? They have got meat, thrown away meat, rotten meat. They digest it and they separate it into amino acids, and they have now got synthesizers with peptidases. I have a wonderful program. You guys have written it. And then amino acids are fed, and then the rotation of this steel rod, and the amino acids are taking, and you got exactly like a KFC chicken. So it is a synthesized meat from the rotten meat with the digesters and synthesizers, and that's what is supplied to you in the KFC, because 5 years ago they were not able to make chicken properly, so they decided to do this. And that's how now it is not Kentucky Fried Chicken. You cannot call it Kentucky Fried, it is KFC, that's all. It is not an acronym, it is just KFC, because they had done that before, they didn't want to change it. So that's what you are all eating. It's all synthesized, and McDonald's is not far behind. They are also doing something very similar to that. So that's why these problems are cropping up. More and more Parkinson's, more and more Alzheimer's, more and more cancers. So you want to get away from all this nonsense. It is not food. It's not, people say junk food. It's not junk food. It is junk. There is no food about it. So be careful. Lot of issues are around. And if you want good kids to be born, if you want your health, you don't want to go to doctors, you start thinking about it, and it is in your hands. What you eat, what you don't eat. And conveniences come into play. you got to get out of that convenience zone and then start doing something about your health. A lot of issues crop up, and you need to creatively solve all these issues. And it's not my job alone. I'm trying to create some systems that are completely different. But everyone has to participate in this journey, and then you can envision a world where there are no diseases and the future generations can happily talk the way I said, oh, there was some cancer, there was some diabetes. And that is very much possible if we all work together. So a few of them will run through. We'll go to cancer, so-called dreaded diseases. They're just name for us, actually. You see? Cancer types: stomach cancer, skin cancer, esophagus, uterus, liver, blood, prostate, brain cancer. In fact, there was one techie, I don't know which company, he had a bone cancer, his mandible. Then the doctor said it has to be cut, and then chemotherapy, radiotherapy. But then before that, he was not able to eat because it's all stuck here, it's grown here. So they put a pipe, and then he was being fed in that. So they came to me. Before the operation, 3 weeks, that time was left. So his parents got him here. He was 21-year-old boy, 23 I think, 21, 23. Just finished and then got into some firm. And so he had this, and he was actually eating pizza, burger, drinking Pepsi, Coke, all that, and he got into this, and then they came, and then we fed him the bone cancer ganji, because he was not able to eat. Ganji is porridge, is the culture of human race, food. In the early days, prehistoric times onwards, they used to just collect the seeds and soak it and then cook it. After overnight soaking, they used to cook. That is ganji. So once ganji is made, he was fed through the tube. After 3 weeks, he was able to move his mouth. Then he said, we will postpone. Then 3 months later, the bone cancer went away with all that kashayams. And then after that, he came back and again started eating pizza, burger. And because many people think it's all just a medicine-like thing, we are done and we get back to normal food. Many gangrene patients, after they get cured, they come and ask, sir, can I go back to my normal food? I said, this is the normal food that you should eat. Abnormal food is... See, you get a disease and you think it is normal food. Then I cure the disease and you call this abnormal food. So he got back again. Then he came back running, and then I told him, this boss, you are eating abnormal food. So you prove again that abnormal food gives the sickness again. Then again he transformed himself. Now he cooks and he eats. Just last 26th he got married, another techie. They are happy now. They are cooking themselves, and in fact, they are very happy. And he is from Nanjangudu area. He has actually now bought 8 acres of dry land, and in fact he is got to our farm and stayed for 1 week and learnt, and now he is actually growing these grains himself. So I am so happy, and he came and gave me the invitation last 6 months back. They came back, and in fact yesterday I received, it's now only 7 months, she's already pregnant. I said at least 2-3 years you have to wait after marrying before to start producing baby. But anyway, there are good things are happening, and hundreds and thousands of people are, actually I have to stop my phones nowadays. In the last 2-3 years, I cannot switch on my phone. I cannot call my wife when I'm outside because so many calls I receive. But that's what is happening. I'm very happy about it. And I am actually, I think, the happiest man on this planet Earth right now, because thousands and thousands of people are calling me, and they're expressing their gratitude, and they're very happy, and lot of special children. This is fits, paralysis, all these guys are being helped, and so I would urge you to go through this literature that is available on the net, free. You can just download PDFs, and we are trying to make it better in next few 6 months, because we have been learning a lot of things. And I certainly believe that we have found, and people like Sridhar Murthy have been helping us in the last 3-4 years, and he has been relentlessly working hard in the city. It's easy for me to be outside the city and then do whatever I want, but being in the city, to do things that you need to do is a lot more tough. So that kind of job, a lot of people are helping, and Sridhar Murthy has been upfront for a long time, actually has been my close associate. And of course, there is an element of business. Whatever you do in the city, the element of business comes into picture, and that's okay. And we need to change the businesses. I'm not against business, but we need to change the businesses of the people of the future. And instead of doing business of medicine, let us do business of millets. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, sir, if you allow us, question and answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think most of the speakers are on there, and those who want to take a questions, just press that mic, but one at a time. Do not make a complex. Yeah, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. To go first? Yeah, this gentleman.
Thank you, sir. We already followed.
Just a little different.
Sir, can you speak in Telugu? Sir, we have already
It's okay with others.
Yeah, we are.
For me, it's okay. But others should understand. You should ask question in English.
Yes, sir. చంటి పిల్లలకి 8 months బేబీలకి ఇవి ఇవ్వచ్చా?
Yeah. The question is, can we feed the babies or 6 months, 8 months, 9 months? But the rule is, you have 9 months in the tummy and 9 months on your breast. That is the rule. But then the rule has been broken by the so-called doctors. You can feed your baby 2 weeks. Like that time. But it's 9 months. You need to feed your baby. Don't feed anything other than mother's milk. 9 months minimum. And after that, if you have enough milk, you can keep continuing to feed the baby till the age of 2 years. But then you can start feeding them. First thing, Annaprasa is done in our olden days onwards. Is a same, that is a little millet. So you give 1 week little millet, 1 week arka, 1 week korle, 1 week navane. Like that, 5 grains each week you have to change. Don't give the same food for the baby. The more diversified foods you expose your kid in the early stages, the better his or her immunity is towards fighting all the diseases. So don't stick to one thing for your babies. Keep giving different vegetables, different leaves, different grains, different dicotyledon, bedal. So everything has to be different. So the problem with all of us is we are stuck to convenience. So one thing you make, keep giving the same thing, because we are all used to drinking coffee in the morning, so we start feeding the baby also coffee. Please don't do these mistakes. So feed your baby various kinds of things, because the body has to be exposed to different kinds of antigens so that the body starts making antibodies. Hence, your immunity increases. So this is the science of it. So the more diversified, the more immunity you provide. And of course, you give through your milk itself. If you feed only your milk in the first 9 months, your baby is already guaranteed to be healthy. So this is the fundamental, very good question. Please feed your babies after 9 months. And to have good supply of milk, there is a protocol of food materials. If you feed yourself, the lactating mother, you have to feed yourself with barnyard millet, kodo millet, then brown top millet. They give you more milk. And foxtail millet in some women tends to decrease the milk. So the lactating mothers, first 6 months, you avoid foxtail millet. Eat less of it. Instead of 3-4 days in a week, you eat maybe once in 20 days or 30 days. That's all. The remaining 4 millets are very good lactating, especially barnyard millet. That is, udulu is very good to give you lactation. And then pearl millet. In the neutral millets, there is called pearl millet, sajje. That is also wonderful to produce more milk for you. And then the leaves, subsigia soppu is very good lactating. And mint leaves is also very good for you. And then Drumstick leaves, moringa leaves are very good lactating, and the curry leaves. And then the vegetables, you have nool kol, you have beetroot, you have tondekai. Tondekai, what do you call it? It's small pumpkin-like thing, tondekai. And then you have fruits. In the fruits, you have nerle hannu. Nerle is jambu. Jambu fruit is very, very good for lactating mothers. So like this, we have identified, and it is there in the literature. So these mothers, and especially garlic is very good for lactating mothers. And all these kinds of literature is produced, and you can look for them and then make your life easy. A good question. Thank you.
Sir, I have been following you and been eating all this. May not be completely, but in a small amount.
Yeah, I'm happy. We'll give her a slap. That's very good. I'm so happy. If not completely, you have made the beginning.
Yes, sir,
Yeah.
definitely. I have one question. I have seen most of your videos and here as well. There is like related to sugar and so many other things. But what about TSH elevation? TSH.
TSH. The same question, thyroid problems. The thyroid problems are very simple. It's all connected to your milk and the steroidal imbalance. And so if you stop milk, your TSH starts getting corrected. And if you stop coffee, tea, it gets easier. Much is something. This is what I said. Early, 1 cup of coffee. That's enough. No, you just need to stop completely. But then it's still, without all these troubles, we have a protocol for thyroid patients. You need to eat little millet 3 days and the remaining 4. Kannadadalli. Little millet is called sama. Samalu, Telugu. Okay? We eat little millet 3 days. I'll just finish the protocol. 3 days of little millet, remaining 4 millets each day, 1, 7-day cycle. And then I didn't speak much about oils. Maybe you have listened to my lectures. Oils, coconut milk, coconut oil is very good. So early in the morning, but we have been brainwashed that oils are bad for you. The coconut oil, cholesterol, groundnut oil is not good for you. Only everyone has to eat olive oil. Where is the olive tree? The whole world wants to eat olive oil. Nonsense. It's all business. And there is no olive oil there. It's all the all diesel mineral oils they are filling up and then making us believe that you have sun pure sunflower oil, sun pure rice bran oil, sun pure this oil, that oil. There is no real oils there. The real oils are wherever you are living, that area produces some oily materials like coconut, tilla, groundnut, safflower, and then Niger seeds. All these are oily materials that you have. And coconut oil and till oil, alternate weeks you drink 2 to 3 spoons, your thyroid gets cleaned up. Because many of these glands are made of fat material. So you have to clean them up with fat only, because the kalmashas that are stuck there can be cleaned with only fat, because the fat soluble, water soluble. So water soluble things anyway gets cleaned up, but then fat soluble kalmashas, the toxins have to be cleaned with fat only. So early in the morning when your body is empty, you drink 2 to 3 spoons of coconut oil 1 week, the next week till oil, next week groundnut oil. Then within 9 weeks, your system gets corrected. Most of the patients, thyroid patients, start seeing the corrections happening. Even if actually I have many patients with TSH 150. In 9 weeks, it comes to 50. The next 9 weeks, it comes to 40. Then as the things come down, it takes more time. So generally 6 months to 2 years, almost every thyroid patient corrects himself or herself. Absolutely no problems at all. Yeah, thyroxine, L-troxin. And this is a good question. Not only thyroxine, L-troxin, lot of people, SLE people, multiple sclerosis, they're all addicted to steroids. And to remove steroids, it is very tough. Though it doesn't do any help, but to get de-addicted is a big problem because we are all used to them, the chemicals. So the simple thing to do is every 6 weeks, you remove 25%. Say now you are taking 10 milligrams of Isolone, that is regular steroid tablets that are given for many immunity problems like autoimmune diseases. So 10 milligrams of Vicelon you are taking today, 10 tomorrow, and then 10 next day. So what you need to do is take 10 milligrams today, take 5 milligrams tomorrow, take 10 milligrams day after tomorrow, take 5 milligrams. So you have reduced out of 20 milligrams per 2 days, you are now taking 15 milligrams. So after 3 or 4 weeks, now you take 5 milligrams, 5 milligrams, 5 milligrams, 5 milligrams. Now we have got to 50% in next 4 weeks. And then again, instead of 5 milligrams and 5 milligrams, take 2.5 milligrams, 5 milligrams, 2.5 milligrams. So slowly and steadily, every 3 weeks, you keep reducing 25%. Over a period of 6 months, you will get rid of your tablets out of your body. Whether it is diabetes, whether it is cancer, whether it is SLE, whether it is anything. In fact, nowadays for everything people take, migraine headache, every day. In fact, they have gande barutte. If you don't take cetirizine, you will start scratching your body all over. If you just touch something, now I touched accidentally, that little pressure creates autoimmune shock. And then I start creating gande and start creating. Or some fellows start sneezing. Some fellows starts getting headache. So all these problems, people are addicted to some tablet or the other. And the way to get out of it is this particular fashion. And some people actually have taken so much tablets that for them it doesn't matter. So they leave everything. In fact, this has happened for a blood cancer girl, 16-year-old. Every 3 days they were injecting the hemoglobin because blood ಕೊಡ್ತಾನೆ ಇರಬೇಕು, it keeps degenerating. And they were giving medicines also. Each time they give, they had to give 10,000 rupees tablet for a month. So at the end of the day, they lost their money. I mean, they don't have enough money. So they gave up. They stopped totally, all at a sudden, because they don't have money. Then they followed this blood cancer protocol. Within 6 days, her blood started stabilizing. In 6 weeks, they didn't need to give her transfusion of the blood. 6 months later, she appeared in my house. She is from Kakinada. So she was not able to get up from the bed. And now after 6 months, they just brought her to thank me. I said, I cannot see you. He said, no, don't see me because I am tightly scheduled. We just wanted to thank you. Like that, almost every day for me, 10 people come. We don't want your appointment. We just want to thank you. So that's the kind of situation that exists now. And you can come out of these diseases. You don't need any doctor, basically. Already they have given you enough tablets. They cannot do more. So you need to come out of that. Just come out of it slowly and steadily, because the de-addiction process can create shocks in your body. So do it slowly, sir.
And dandruff, other things. Doctor recommends vitamin E and other sort of tablets.
Yeah, that's what I said. No vitamins are absorbed by the body. First half of my session is that only. So you want to include that vitamin E in your food. So you figure out what food has your vitamin E, and actually that table we have got skin diseases, what to eat, what kashayams to drink. So all that job is done. You just have to go to that particular table, figure out what you need to eat, you can eat. No, I want to eliminate my clinic. And that's, so you want to come to clinic, don't come to clinics. It's not medication. Yeah, exactly. I want people not to go to clinics. You have gone enough clinics. Whether it is Khadar's or someone's, it is a clinic. Yeah, I have been trying to put all the advice onto the net and onto my lectures, because it's tough to go to clinics. It's easy for me to tell you, come to Mysore, but it's not that easy. Yeah, and what's your name? Shashi. Shashi has all the information. You can just WhatsApp to his number. You can flood his phone. Then he will send you all the information.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I think we are running out of time, and I'm sure that a lot of people have multiple questions. But as I know,
I
Khadar
want
sir
to answer one more question. Yeah. If I have multiple diseases, I have thyroid, I have cancer, I have this, what do we do? What about epilepsy? Yeah, fits together. What do we do? all 5 together. There are cases, we have hundreds of such cases. So the simple thing I am asking them to do is very, very simple. Eat all the 5 grains every 2 days, 10-day cycle. And start first 6 weeks with ganji. As I told you, ganji is wonderful. Soak them in the night, cook them in the morning, and then don't drink then. Keep it till the evening. When you keep it, further fermentation process begins. It becomes much more powerful as healing food. But don't keep beyond 8 hours. Okay? So morning you cook, drink in the evening, and then cook in the night, which you have soaked in the morning, and drink it in the morning. So if you follow this cycle for 6 weeks, almost all diseases settle down. Next 6 weeks, you start feeling the health. And most of them, you can start ticking away. And with that, follow coconut oil, groundnut oil, till oil. And there is one more oil called Verinnual Nune, that is Niger seeds oil, which is not available right now. In fact, that fits and the attention deficit syndrome and madness. Actually, we have cured a case where the boy is mad. He will take knife and starts stabbing his mother, and that kind of fits, anger fits he gets into. Even such kids are now cured completely with this treatment. So almost everything is possible. Almost everything is possible. As I told you, cancer patients who are about to die, gangrene patients who are about to get cut, all that is completely given. The information is fully tabulated, and most of the things you have to keep trying to get it and then get yourself well.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. And sir, we have missed.
Don't drink water in plastic bottles.
Sir, only one question everybody is asking, that where we can find these millets and very easily and very quickly. So probably sir will address and help us here. Thank you.
Friends, thank you for listening Dr. Khadar lecture. I hope that in future you are going to use it. For using that millets, it is available right now in the downstairs on the floor. So you can buy that millets, and also this millets how to cook. This millet recipes book is also available. You can also buy it from their stall. So our stall is in Chandra Layout. Whoever wants it, you can inform Mr. Shashi also, so that we can send it to your home delivery also. You can place the order, we can send it to your home. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I would like to invite Niranjan sir, Vishu and Chitrax to please honor Khadar sir and society. Yeah. Thank you. Chitrax, Niranjan sir. Yeah, please. Round of applause for the Khadar sir. Sir, it was a pleasure to have you, sir. We can't say more than thanks, but we start using the millets. That's only the way that we can say thanks.
It's okay.
Sir, idella haki one photo.
So they want one photograph so that
ಅದಿರಲಿ ಬಿಡಿ.
Big round of applause, gentlemen.
Ben.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for joining us. Thank you.
Just a last statement. I think I have been following him since a year. Okay. After the day I started, it's around a year now. I don't think I've ever met a doctor. I never got an opportunity to go and meet a doctor, and that's a power I have it. And I have experienced it. I would seriously request all of you to think about it and give a thought towards a healthy life. And I would like to thank Dr. Khadar for doing all this for the whole society. And thank you very much.
Thank you all.
I
Thank
think
you all.
from all of us really want to thank Mahadi, Jagan and Shashi for really arranging this session, because I am hearing from Shashi for last so many months about these things, and really, really thanks Shashi, Mahadi and Jagan for arranging this here.
And anybody is looking out for documents, the documents are already available where Sir has documented everything considering all the possibilities for the cure in terms of any disease. And my email ID is available in the invite which has been shared to all at TechM. So you can just mail me across. I will share the Google location where these documents are available. Thank you very much. Thanks everybody for coming up. Thank you.
Guys, you guys have already have a lot of questions, but you know, it's a time which is making it. So I would suggest to go through the lot of videos in YouTube. Sir has published lots and lots of videos, so that would help you, all of you guys. Yeah. Thank you.